Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the It episode 2. I'm not used to the title. It Welcome to Derry episode 2 spoilers review. It's one of those titles I feel like we talk about that I get why they call it that, but it's kind of a mouthful and just doesn't really ring off the tongue. But
Yeah,
I'm the pickled Travis now. I'm joined by.
nice name. I am the Adam Hardcaster, Dilmas.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. And here we are to talk about said episode, as I just mentioned. Thanks to everybody who listened on the last one. Thank you very much. I haven't looked at the stats, but I think they did good. I have, Dylan, I made a chart for our episode 1 debuts and whatnot. So I think it did pretty well. So thank you to everyone that checked it out. And I guess we're not really delayed. I don't know what the schedule was. I think on HBO they did show it tonight, but obviously it was streaming Halloween night. But it's kind of great for the viewers, not so much for us, the content creators. But we're here, and then after this, we'll get back into it. I think next week should be me and Taylor, because you'll be on a bus back to Kelowna, right? So you won't be in Derry at all. You'll be in BC.
That is true. Yeah, I'll be en route.
Yeah, so there you go. So you got that. That's coming out next week. So yeah, me and Taylor will do that unless we're just dead from the stream, but I think we'll muster it, no pun intended, and figure it out. And then you got side quest this week. You got a weekly geek with Taylor and I, and Predator Badlands review coming. That's gonna be fun. That's kind of sneaking up on me. This whole I know we say this all the time, but getting older, it's just October went by like that. The fact that it was Halloween just over with, nuts to me. But
Yeah, I debated skipping Predator only because Predator, we see a movie late, we review it late. Yeah. And I got to get on a bus at 7 a.m., so I got to be there earlier. And so I was like, do I do this? Because I need to get a good sleep, before a 24-hour stream. But, I'm just going to do it anyway. So we're gonna do this Predator review. I'll get no sleep. I'll go on a bus. I'll get to Kelowna, and hopefully I'll get a lot of sleep Friday night and then be ready to go for Saturday's stream.
Yeah, not like you got to do anything tenuous on the Saturday,
Oh, just no. No brain power, no nothing required, no.
Yeah, and mentioning that, yes, this Saturday, 10 a.m. PST, 24-hour Extra Life stream, which funny, we moved it because of Halloween, because Kirkland was in Japan, but I saw that Extra Life, actually, their official game day is the Saturday, so they followed my cue. Okay. That was before. So, but yeah, we're staying up 24 hours, trying to raise funds for BC Children's Hospital. Down below is the link for the full schedule, the goal unlock, so if you get to certain increments, what we'll do, some on the stream, some off. I got the Harry Potter jelly beans. Everyone's welcome. If not, I'll be doing it. But I thought an old school throwback. Obviously, we did that way back. And I think you're one of the Custer Dome. But so that's going to be fun. Tons of fun stuff. Anything you can donate, we would appreciate it. That goes towards BC Children's Hospitals, surgeries, recovery, hospital stays, all that stuff. We're trying to hit at least 2,000 CAD. That'd be great because we could have hit 20,000 for the last 9 years. And it's tax deductible. There's shirts you can buy too, all that stuff's to the link, and we'd appreciate come and watch that day. Share it if you can't watch, hit a like if you can't donate, completely understand, but just help us spread the love. And trivia battle participants are going to be announced this week on the weekly Geek. Me and Taylor will spin the wheel and decide the round 1 matchups for the GeekVerse.ca Cup, so we can download some stuff in advance. And lots of other good stuff happening, guests and everything, so it should be a good time. Dylan Musk, though, episode 2 of Welcome to Derry. Did you have a good time here?
Episode 2 of Welcome to Derry. Boy, oh boy, Travis, this episode was dry as a bone. This was a real snoozer for me. A lot of shows really try and whip out all the stops when it comes to a pilot, especially, or a premiere of a season, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like they did that last week, and then this week was definitely not that. I remember at one point, just to pause to see how much more do I got. I was at 45 minutes in. I got 20 to go. I'm like, geez, Louise, what is going on here? So there were a couple good moments, like the actual scary stuff, like the big Pennywise kind of set pieces that we got here were fun. I liked those. I didn't think they were that scary, but they were fun scenes, like good, well shot and all that. But yeah, I think I'm just so far feeling a little underwhelmed with the world building of, I guess, just Derry as a town, which is, it's in the title of the show here. I think that's where we're going with this. And I'm sure it's going to build up to some interesting stuff, but this episode felt pretty rough for me. Really, I could have easily seen this one getting chopped down to like a 40-minute ep or something like that, and got like the same amount of information across. So, not my favorite episode out of the 2, I guess. There's only 2 to compare to. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Okay, that's interesting. I had the opposite effect where I liked it more than episode one.
Okay.
So I was positive on it. I think last week, because I know Clay in the Discord was asking, I think other people are kind of, I think there's people that like or really enjoy the movies, but are kind of on the fence of do I want to go watch an 8 episode series, right? And I get that if you're not like a horror junkie or if you don't love any of those movies, like, okay, do I want to commit to this? So for me, episode one, I was like, okay, I could see like I can recommend it to certain people, but I couldn't go that far. Where episode two so far, I thought there's a lot of good, interesting dynamics. I liked these scares better than last week's. I thought one in particular was really good and really well done, and like had me on the edge of my seat. So that was good. I'm liking some of the. I think we talked about this a little bit last week that it is a group of kids again, but I'm enjoying that it's not just so far the loser club redux, right? They kind of maybe insinuated they might go that route last week, but even this week it feels like these characters are very far apart and not on the same page as of right now. I'm sure near the end of 5 weeks from now they'll unite and fight the clown, all that stuff. But I kind of like that where we're starting out. It's a little bit different. The army stuff still have to wait and see, but I enjoyed a little bit of the twist of what I thought was just a clear, oh, this is what it is, and I kind of like how we got there. And then we met another character just a little bit here that obviously we've talked about coming in that I'm excited, and I actually was liking the actor. So yeah, for the most part, I was pretty positive on it. I was surprised because I thought last week I was just good on it, where this week I'm very excited by some of the dynamics, especially I think in the last 5 minutes of where we could go this season, especially one location. I think we're gonna have lots of fun in there, but yeah, so I'm more on the positive spectrum. So it'll be interesting review
That's
to
great.
talk about what we found here and whatnot. So, anything else non spoilers?
I don't think so. No.
No. Well, there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've not seen the episode, bounce out, come back later, and then we'll be right back. And we're back. Yeah, I think other than that, Patreon could get this episode, mini episodes ad free. Could bypass that ad. We got the Running Man retrospective. What else did we do? We did. There was another I thought exclusive one. Oh, we did the two Trons, right? But Running Man, the Predator
Trons.
retros are back on the feed, so lots of good stuff there. Our entire library, so we very much appreciate that. Mr. Musk, where do you want to start with this week's episode?
Well, I'll start at the very beginning, which will be just a quick hit. But man, I was so worried when we get this scene of our. I don't have the IMDb open, so I don't know these characters' names yet. But the main girl that we're following along here,
Lily, the crazy one, or was it the movie? Yeah, Lily's her name.
Well, I don't know if I would not call her the crazy
Well,
one.
I mean, in the story, they're portraying her as like
you're just like the population of Derry.
I am, yeah.
Yes, Lily, that is the one where we get a nightmare sequence, which is kind of. I was like, is this a last week on? This is kind of just playing shot for shot what we saw last week. What's going on here? And then she wakes up having a nightmare, kind of recounting the events from last week. So it worked as a bit of a last week on, I suppose. But I was really worried that like, oh no, was all of that just a dream?
Oh,
and we're
me
actually
too, man.
going back here, and we were all so hyped on the fact that the show freaking went for it in episode 1 of killing off all these characters, and the fact that we were about to undo it, I was about to be hecka pissed. But then they said no, it's just a nightmare. Everything actually did happen, and then like seems like a couple weeks or a week or so has gone by, and then we're kind of picking up the story from there.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. When that was happening, I was ready to almost I wouldn't fail the series, but it would be now an uphill battle of like, hey, this is like a 5 out of 10 right now. Like you got to earn more of it because yeah, they went for it, and that would have just been such a fake out. And I hate when shows. I don't mind if it's in a scene. If they would have done that, then the character wakes up right away. It's like, oh my goodness. But if you would have left us the whole week on, man, they killed those kids and did this, that's nuts, and then nothing. So I'm very happy that happened. And then yeah, I think it kind of went the way we talked about, where we were discussing what's going to happen with the theater and all these dead kids and whatnot, and they're just missing, and they are playing on the crime element, but also the race element, because they're just trying to find this whole episode, which the guy, I don't know if you remember, the sheriff who is trying to just pin it on the theater owner. He's the main character in Saw 6. I can't remember his whole name, but it's
Did not remember that. But
yeah. I like that actor. He's a good actor. So for me, it was fun to see him in there. But yeah, it kind of is playing the way that I thought they would, because the original, it has that, whether it's the book and the series, but just the movies as well, playing on the, okay, something's wrong with Derry, but there was also race elements, and that's where it's this whole episode is just trying to pin it on this guy and what can we do, and the way they kind of I guess she said she was tricked, but I thought, I feel like Lily should have been smart enough to know that was like he when he says it like that and does a smile, it's like, I don't know if there's much of a trick there. It seems pretty obvious what he's trying to get you to say, but
she's a kid. We'll give her that.
That's true. That's true. Kid with some issues. So,
A
uh,
kid who doesn't have a great mom and has spent time kind of locked up when seemingly she doesn't
yes.
need to be. So yeah, you can give her a little lenience there.
Yeah, Carl Ritchie's saying he's been enjoying it so far better than he was expecting. So
Ooh,
there you go. So that's
Carl
good.
in the
So
live chat. Let's
which,
go.
which is hard to please him sometimes. Check out Last After Nine. Lots of
Really hard to
hot takes
please.
always. But I did because I don't know if we found this out last week, but I did appreciate that they've informed us, and honestly, it's the end of the episode. That's where I'm excited to. I know it sounds weird, but that Lily has been locked up before in the asylum. I don't think we knew that last week, right? I think just
We
a shit
did.
episode. Oh, did we? Okay, then I
Yeah.
forgot that then. Okay, so I am excited though. As messed up as I'm excited for her to be back there because I feel like you can do a lot of fun things with Pennywise and scares, and you meet other people. And I guarantee you, I wonder if we'll even meet someone else that was like a victim of Pennywise that was maybe that they survived but deemed crazy or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think there's some good set pieces there that I hope could bring some good potential into the season. So
Yeah, that's one. So one thing also in between last week's episode and this week's, I have rewatched it chapter 1, and then I'm like halfway through chapter 2. It's a long movie, so I still need a couple more
yes,
days to get through all of it. But one thing I totally forgot about is Bowers. I forget his first name.
Henry
bully.
Bowers.
Henry Bowers. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like in an insane asylum in the second one, and breaks out of there. And I don't. Is that the same building?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
pretty sure the name. I don't know if it's the exact same building, but the name was similar. They went to 3 locations. They went to at one point the character of the mom of the guy that's Mike's great grandfather. He's the armor guy, the main guy there. I'll get his name, but they show the alleyway at one point. That's big for Mike in that movie. I think you might have already watched that. There's one point where Mike's in an alleyway and he looks in a bunch of meat lockers and Pennywise is there. You kind of just see the silhouette of him. But anyway, there's an alley.
Right.
There's an antique shop that is also from the movies, and then the asylum is also from the movies. So we saw
And-
3 locations this week
And
that
even
are
them
know.
setting up, like building the big Paul Bunyan statue, which is a big set piece in the
Yes.
second movie as well for Richie.
That's true, yeah.
I think it's in the second movie. It's Bill Hader having like a flashback to when he was younger version and was getting chased by that thing, right? Because I think that was in the second movie, but it was with Finn Wolfhard.
Yes, they changed it later on to be like, oh, this did happen during the summer, but we didn't see it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a fun, because I don't know if I would have remembered that because I haven't watched the second movie in a long time, but just seeing that scene yesterday and then kind of having a little bit of world building there. So that's where I'm getting a little bit more out of revisiting those movies right now too,
Mhm.
and just kind of familiarizing myself with some of it, but just like I don't know, tasteful little pieces of connection. I wonder, like I wonder if that Paul Bunyan thing we'll see again in this show, or if that was purely just like one quick scene, just as like a fun little nod to the movies. But we'll see how much the show is doing that.
Yeah, it's interesting because there was a moment where there was the "Welcome to Derry" sign. Someone threw egg at. Were they throwing at the sign, or were they actually throwing at the lady and missed?
They're
couldn't
trying to
tell.
hit the Paul Bunyan sign, I think, right?
Oh, yeah, they were. I just wasn't sure because obviously the lady was walking through the town and some people were giving her off looks, and
Yeah.
you just don't know. Obviously, some people they're playing on the racism, but then something they're playing on there's a weird stuff going on in Derry. So I wasn't sure in that scene if they were trying to hit her and they missed, but she just took it as, oh, they're throwing at the sign. But I think it was the sign, but I didn't know
Yeah.
for sure. I didn't get a read on that. So
Yeah, I think so too. And that lady is the army guy's wife who
Yeah,
has now
look at
showed
the
up in
names.
town with their kid. So
Yes.
yeah, how did you feel about that? Because we spent a lot of time with that family in this episode. Probably more time with them than even Lily or anyone else, if you kind of factor in all of them.
Yes, that guy is Leroy Hanlon. They're Hanlons, right? I don't know why. I'm just gonna keep calling that because technically this guy Leroy is Mike's or I think just
Okay.
just grandfather, not great grandfather, but just
Okay,
grandfather.
that's also fun as well. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so yeah, I didn't mind it. It is interesting to see because I feel some worry of they. I gotta see how they get there because they killed all these kids last week. But then I feel like the girl with the glasses that used to be friends with Lily that isn't, she's getting a bit more play. Hanlon's son's there, and even Hanlon's son was interacting with that kid in the hallway that saw Lily's friend or
Right.
ex-friend. They did like that love, like slow motion, everything like that. So for me, I'm just worried that it's gonna take a couple episodes and the kids will just be like that. But at least I'm gonna still kind of gather that I don't think they will be like the losers club where they're just all friendly. It feels like they will come together. But so the Hanlon stuff, I didn't mind it. At first I wasn't sure what the situation was because they end up joking, but I wasn't sure if it was like a single parent divorce situation, because when he's like, I've been waiting here for 2 hours, but then when they went to me, he was smiling. Okay, but I wasn't sure if that was the case, and I'm kind of happy. I didn't really need like the two divorced parents fighting over the kid. Like there's enough tropes sometimes in TV shows. So yeah, I like them all. I think the mom was kind of a good guide, right? Because that was her first time in Derry, where Leroy, he's there, but it doesn't sound like he's really doing much in the town. Like it sounds like he's working all the time,
He's on the
right?
base a
So
lot, yeah.
yeah, so it's like he doesn't get a good idea of what the city's like. And then even then, like obviously he's gonna see some stuff, but the son, he's gonna be at school, kind of segregated place, where the wife, she's gonna be kind of all over, especially in this era. She's doing the cooking, the shopping, the cleaning, the talking with other housewives, etc. So I think that was a good moment of her kind of seeing some off people, seeing those kids beat that one kid up, and no one in the town really caring about it all. So
just
I,
major stink eye.
yeah, so I think they were good kind of guides to what's going on, and I like the young Hanlon kids so far, So yeah, I enjoyed them. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Is that them being kind of the new people in town. It's a good way to introduce like the viewer to what Derry is like currently, and some of it seems like pretty on the nose. And I'm curious to see how much depth we're gonna put on top of that. And like, oh yeah, Derry's kind of a shitty place. It's racist.
yeah,
And like I'm curious to see we're gonna go like 8 episodes of that. Like if we're gonna
yeah,
see much change or anything. And obviously even in like the later It movies, there's still people not being the most friendly and things like that too. But I
yeah,
think having the dynamic of one, the wife can kind of go around town, go to the antique store, go to all these different places and see what that perspective's like, and then having the kids as well. Because we didn't really get as much of him. I guess we got more other things at the school, but not him necessarily as much as we did the mom. So I don't know. I'm intrigued to see where this is going, and I think I was in the first episode not loving this kind of army storyline, but now knowing this character is also going to have this awkward dynamic where he's like trying to joke with his son about like telescope and spying, but like that joke doesn't really land because he's like not really been around and he doesn't really know his kid that well.
Yeah.
Clearly, like I think there's some, I don't know, some potential there that I'm excited to dig more into now.
And is it just because of him why the army stuff is working? Like, how did you feel about the reveal? Because I'll shout out to Super Mike. He did call last week that he thought it was a test, and that's what they at first made it seem like. Okay, it was just a racist officer, but he put together, hey, they use this very specific gun that's very hard to load and reload, and which I enjoyed them kind of him triggering this guy. I think maybe a little easy because he's supposed to be an officer, right? Like he's not. I think I maybe would have bought it if it was more just like a piece of shit guy out the street, but he is supposed to be an officer. So the fact that he made just kind of one joke about like sleeping with his mother, like, oh, that's it, I'm going to pull a gun. Maybe felt a little fast, but I like the idea of, oh, he outsmarted him, and then Harry does the whole, oh, you should sit down, son. And he tells him that it's very like it's Men in Black, like it's a special operation sort of thing,
It's so classic James Remar stuff of like this guy who just clearly withholds information and kind of screws with people
100%.
and is like super shady. And like I don't know, it's not like he's even trying to like hide it by being a light, jovial guy. Like he's just a very stern guy as well. So his tone, honestly, it's like kind of perfect casting for what this guy is. I mean, I was pretty intrigued with the stuff at like the very end of the episode. I think some of the scenes prior were like kind of dry, just the writing of it, even if I kind of like some of that dynamic a little bit. But yeah, the stuff at the end, I don't know if we want to jump all the way there now. Yeah, but like, I don't know. First of all, this idea of like this, device that can induce fear, and I'm curious to see how that relates to Pennywise and what's going on there, because I still don't really understand. And then unearthing the car, which is that the car from the episode 1?
Well, that's what I thought.
Because one of the people in the car with the big gun looked like maybe an army guy or something, which no one in the car was that. So I couldn't quite tell.
Yeah, it's tough because that's what I thought, and I kind of hope it is. I don't know how they can strictly answer that, right? Because it's kind of, I almost like that idea of people, and I guess we have seen that before, where the things Pennywise kills, he can kind of take on, right? Like, because you're watching it, chapter 2, and remember Henry Bowers when he's older, I'm not sure if you got there, he sees like his friend in the past, but still's a teenager, and he's possessed, and even
he's
he
like
does
driving
that
him around town.
Yeah, and he even does that at Georgie, right? So it kind of would make sense that, hey, Pennywise maybe took out this family or these kids in this car way in the past, and he's kind of using them as like a shield. But like you said, there's some things we didn't see, but obviously it's because you could just argue that that's a Pennywise like nightmare scenario he's made up, right? So I feel, to me, it has to be tied to that because it feels very odd. Specifically to me, it had the car, last episode of the car. I didn't do a body count, but had several bodies, not just one, had several bodies like that
Yeah,
car.
front seat,
So
back seat, at least. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know exactly what that means as far as like, I don't know why Pennywise would have to like hide a car there per se. Like I feel like Pennywise can kind of just get away with his crimes, you know? Like
Yeah, and
cuz
I mean, normally he would like want the bodies for himself.
yeah, not
too,
the car.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, not, so that's where it's like the bodies aren't there and the car is not there. I don't know if it's a situation where the thing crashed in, but yeah, like you said, because Pennywise, that's the thing where he also is, or just whatever the entity is, feeding off fear or making you fear things and stuff. So I don't know if this is like a home base for him or whatnot. So, and I
Yeah,
don't
and
know, you know.
Can you
Okay.
remind me the time jump in episode 1 from when that kid goes missing to when the
It's like
story
3
is
to
now?
4 months, I think we
Okay,
talked
because I
about.
was trying to think too,
Yeah.
like, does the decomposition sort of line up? And I think it kind of sort of does. So it seems like that could be the case.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. So no, it was interesting. I wasn't sure at first too if that was really things that were happening because we met Dick Halloran in this episode, and again they kind of we'll see again with the race stuff if it's surface level, but they're having a good time with their buddies. That sergeant walks in, pretty much tells the bartender to kick him out, and then they get out of there as fast as possible. I did like the scene when they go back to the army base and say, "Oh, that's it. You're gonna get ridden up. You're gonna be in big. This could be the end of you." He's like, "Oh, just say it's Dick Halloran," and then he's like, "All right, you're good to go." But right after that scene, they directly went to a scene where he's like almost gonna throw up and he's getting really hot and heavy. I thought that was a flashback. I didn't think that was present day stuff. I thought that was showing kind of what he's been doing, but I guess it was present day. Really like the transition of when he did throw up. It transitioned into the mashed potatoes hitting the plate. So you know, thumbs up for that. But yeah, so I'm not sure. Like obviously, we kind of figured that's what he would be doing. I wonder, like with James Remar's character being, oh, we need smart people and people that don't have like I guess like don't get me wrong, I get what he's saying about this guy doesn't have fear because he can question authority and take on these supposed racists head to head, but I just feel like, and honestly they don't know, but I just feel like that's a huge leap to go from, oh, this guy who's just like will stand up at work will be intolerant to this, let's just say some object that's going to make them scared or something, right? Like that's a huge leap, but I guess that's all
Yeah.
they got in the scenario. So but
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a lot more testing or things like that have gone on. I don't know.
yeah. So, but yeah, we did meet Dick this episode. I kind of was surprised that he was this early. I thought it'd be a little bit, and I think we've kind of heard there's gonna be multiple episodes, and I like that character introduction. I like the character so far. I like that he's not kind of doing like a Scatman Crothers kind of impersonation. They do that in Doctor Sleep, and it's probably a good idea just to do your own thing. I feel like I've seen this actor in something. I could not put my finger on it. It just felt like I had seen him, but I liked him, and I liked kind of the introduction, and it kind of makes sense of they're kind of just using him as a magnet, right? And that's what The Shining's all the time, right? Like he even says it's like your battery, and you get electrified when you go in there. So it kind of makes sense that what, like when he says we're getting close, that's what's going to be interesting as far as how many dig sites have they been, and what are you getting close to doing, right? Like what are they going to do with this? And I guess my last point too, we were talking about this in the Discord, and that's always the trouble with the prequel stuff. It's like how much do you want them to figure out or know and then not do anything in 27 years or 27 years after the fact, right? Like it will be straight, but I guess we're to find out, right? Because we know this Leroy guy, he makes it because he goes on to be a grandfather. So it's not like they're going to kill them all, right? Like in the row one scenario where, oh, what happened to that crew? Oh, well, they all got taken off the board, right? So
Yeah. I was trying to find an answer for you of what else this guy has been in that maybe you'd know him from. I'm not really like he was in Godzilla versus Kong. He was in 12 Years a Slave, but I don't know how big of a role he had in there. So I'm just trying to think of things you've seen. But I don't know if have you noticed this? So if you Google it, Welcome to Derry, like a balloon pops up on Google and just like floats up your browser.
Really? Let me try this.
So that's it's kind of freaky, a little creepy.
Let's see. Oh, okay, it did. I was gonna laugh if it didn't happen to me. Then I'd say that you're next.
Cursed.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should have
Yeah,
messed with me. You should have.
Yeah, I should have. Yeah. But yeah, what do you think about Dick's introduction here?
I don't know. I think I don't really have much of an opinion yet on this one. I'm curious to see where it goes, and I didn't even like pick up. Oh yeah, that's like the shiny guy. Like that's how I'm not as in deep on the lore of this sort of thing. But yeah, I think I'll have to kind of report back next week on that one. And not too much here for this episode for me.
Okay, I figured it out. What I know him from, he was in the Gotham TV show. He played Lucius Fox, so Morgan Freeman's character from the Nolan movies, like Batman's gadget guy. Like
Okay,
a
sure.
submarine, Mr. Wayne. Like a
Gotcha.
submarine. So yeah, he just supplied Bruce with gadgets and stuff. So
Okay.
there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Trying to think. Sorry, go ahead. It sounded like you had somewhere to go.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can jump over to some of the school drama stuff. Which, yeah, I don't really know how I'm feeling about some of this yet. Like, we get this cafeteria scene with the patty cake squad.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I feel like that scene was really trying to build up some suspense. Not in, like, the big horror way, but I felt like it was going for something that wasn't really working for me. It was just, like, a deflated balloon, like, the whole time. So, I don't know. And then I guess we have, like, a bit of drama of, like, this friend trying to reach out, see how you doing. And Lily's just totally zoned out in her own world, doesn't really care to have these conversations. So this is another thing too, where like I don't really know where we're going with this. I'm guessing some of the plastics, so to speak, like the this crew of Mean Girls, like feels like at least that main one is like a prime Pennywise kill. Like I feel like that's gonna happen for sure.
Yeah.
It feels like we're building up to like
Or
she's
unless
the
she's
snobby
like
girl who's gonna be fun to watch like get murdered, I guess. But I don't know.
like the main one that was like leading the crew, that'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
Beverly, your jacket. That, or she could be the Bowers, where like Pennywise kind of works through her. That's the vibe I was getting, as far as because there's
I
just
just
a
don't
couple
see that
times
dark side to her. I just think she's like snobby and annoying. And Jack is
Yeah.
like fucked up.
There's just a couple smiles she gave, especially during the patty cake.
Okay.
She was looking very clown-like, and not the actor, but just like the cheeks were up high, And I feel like anytime the cheeks
Okay.
on the face are up high, I could see something like that. So you could be completely right. I also I imagine there's going to be a redemption, but I'm not rooting for the girl in the glasses yet either. I feel like obviously she's being pretty mean to
Yeah,
Lily, and
It's almost like we're missing backstory of like them being good friends. Like I know that they were, and they've kind of drifted apart, especially in like these last few weeks. But I feel like as a viewer, I don't like just buy into that relationship immediately, whether that's a chemistry thing or the fact that we're kind of just like middle of their story here, and haven't seen them
Yeah.
like become friends. But to me, that I just don't really, I don't like my heart isn't in it. I don't care if they end up friends or not. Like it doesn't really make
Yeah.
a difference right now.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. The cafeteria scene I felt like it was trying to set up the same way as, I can't remember what they were saying last week in the car. Remember the kids in the OUT. Remember they kept spelling OUT over and over? Yeah. So I thought we were going to get something creepy happening, because it was a similar cadence where it's a group of people doing something over and over again. And especially at the time, I thought, oh, this girl has some Pennywise kind of taking over vibe. And then it just ended with her saying bullshit, which, fine. Obviously back then, that's a huge thing to say. You don't want to be saying that. But yeah, I thought there was going to be a little bit more. But I did like the dynamic of Lily and what is that other character's
Ronnie.
name? Ronnie, of far as, because we always see like in shows, like, okay, why won't the kids say anything? And it's just because, like, well, it's a big clown. But I like this big, or like they'll seem crazy, but I like the reasoning of she can't be too specific because she's just going to get taken back, which kind of
Yeah.
sucks, because now she gets taken back regardless. So it's almost like she didn't need to. She would have just been better off not saying anything. She still ended up the same spot where she was afraid to. But I think that was a really good dynamic for her to actually have Lily not say anything versus some kid being either just scared about it, kind of pathetic about it, or like in denial, which we've seen before. So I like that. And again, I like that Lily and Ronnie aren't, as of right now, the best of pals. Ronnie was beating down the door trying to like get at her, like, I want to talk to your daughter and stuff. And so I enjoyed that. So yeah, I liked their dynamic so far. Sad Lily's there, and then I guess Ronnie, I think, is just going to be on full, just kind of detective mode probably soon, right? Because she's got to clear her dad one way or another, even though it kind of feels like you're not going to be able to clear him, because it sounds like the many people just have it in for him, right? I thought, obviously, I think the line was good because it has a lot to do with today, but with that they're pressuring the sheriff, and he's like, well, I have no witnesses. He has an alibi. He's like, this is America after all. And the guy goes, it's not America, it's Derry, which I thought was actually a scary line. That's not Pennywise at all, but it is, like, because there are people with that mindset, right? And it's just kind of, you got to figure it out, or we're gonna figure it out for you. So
I feel like that's a perfect snapshot of how we just felt so differently about this episode. I thought that was like the cheesiest, like stupid line ever. And I was like, who wrote this? Like, this is so lame.
Yeah.
But I can totally see that. But okay, do you think Ronnie is going to help Lily break out of this place and then like help like hide her. Maybe like I don't know if the theater might be a dangerous place
Yeah.
to hide her, but hide her somewhere.
Um, Something has to happen because I don't think she's gonna break her out. Because almost why would she, right? Because I feel like she's so mad at her. It might be like a good riddance kind of.
Well, she still cares about her though, and they still went through this extremely traumatic thing, and she's probably gonna be like, "Well, I didn't want my friend to get locked up for, you know, doing like thinking back to what she said in the house. She's like, well,
Yeah.
she said she, didn't try
She got
not to get
tricked,
him.
yeah.
And yeah, she got tricked, and then she still ended up there anyway. So I think she's gonna have sympathy for her if she finds out. I don't know how she would. I guess you could just find out. She doesn't really. She could just find out from school, I suppose. But I don't know.
Yeah. I think in an episode or two, I don't think next week per se. I think there's still going to be a little residual being mad, and I bet it's going to be a little
Do
bit
you
of
think
a
Lily's gonna be just locked up for an episode or two and just not?
at least one episode for just for the scares, just for the drama. I just think, like I said, lots of things can mess with Lily in the asylum. I feel like, right? Because that's the perfect place where she can act crazy, and the doctors can just keep being like, "Well, you're sick, and this is what you need to do." Right? Where at school or home or the shop, you act crazy, but she's trying to deny it, and everyone's like a little put off. This is there because even then when they open the door, right, to send her in the asylum, and all the handlers are smiling, you can
Yeah,
obviously say,
true.
"Okay, that's it." Like that's Pennywise. That's it doing something. But you can also just say back then that might be the idea that they want, right? They're portraying of like it's all safe here, and you're all gonna be happy here because they're just kind of treating everybody. This is back in the day where people that were schizophrenic were looked at as upon as like there was no help for them, right? They were just kind of damaged goods. So I think that's the thing where I think at least one episode Lily will be locked in there. I could even see her just escaping by herself, and maybe her and Ronnie reunite. I don't think it's out of the question Ronnie comes back, but I think we have to see a little bit more. But one episode Lily's gonna she's gonna go through it.
Fair enough. Yeah, it feels almost like this is a classic trope of anything, including the first chapter 1 movie where like all the kids have a fight at some point and then they like break up for a month or two and then they kind of reconvene. And it feels like wow, really early that this split between them already happened. But that's why I just felt like okay, maybe that's not going to be the big split and like Ronnie's going to because Ronnie doesn't really have anyone right now. I guess we have to assume, right? So maybe
I
that's
feel like
why
her grandma's not going to be that helpful.
Yeah, no, her grandma does not seem like the best support figure to have for her here.
Yeah. Mike says, hot take. So far, I like Lily as a character more than any of the kids in the It movie. Wow. I don't think it's a hot take. I do enjoy Lily. It's funny, last week we were talking about, like, as nice as possible, we felt like the acting wasn't up to snuff with the group. I will say I think that Lily and Ronnie are the standouts for the actors, and I feel like that's
Ronnie
why...
this episode for me did a great job.
Yeah, so I feel like that's why we kind of lost some of the actors that were maybe just all right. They're still working on their craft. Where we kept the two best, but yeah, I can't agree with you yet so far, Mike. Also, we haven't seen the whole story. I'm a big Ben fan. I really like Ben in the first movie, not in the second movie. And then I like Bev. And then I like Richie for the comedic value, but I could see him being the Mount Rushmore spot when it's all said and done. The 4
small little Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
I think if you're right that Lily's trapped in here for episode or two, I think that's probably a pretty good opportunity for her to do some good acting chops in there. I think there'll be some good stuff going on there.
Yeah. What do you think about the scary scenarios this week? We got the aforementioned Lily in the grocery store, and she's being attacked by pickle jars. It looked like
what was
her
the big
father.
one for you that you were hinting at?
Definitely the mother one. That was,
Yeah.
to me, that was phenomenal. Where because first one, the thing, which is a fear, again, not claustrophobia, but the idea of not being able to move. When this thing just wraps around her, but the darker, redder God, I'm like, oh my goodness, she's inside a belly. Now I thought that's all it was going to be, right? But then when she splits out and gets there, still the umbilical cord still attached to her, but then the chair looks like it still looks like a chair, but then also looks like a woman giving birth. So I loved like the juxtaposition there, and then all this just the mom talking about, oh, you're the reason I'm dead, because I don't know if we learned that last week, but it looks like she died in childbirth due to giving birth to Ronnie, and then all that stuff of her pulling the umbilical cord and her having to bite it off, and then she turned this big and then for a second you saw the deadlights, right, with Pennywise. Technically we did see Pennywise tonight with the eyes, right? We saw his eyes. So that to me was even like I'd have to think about the movies, but that's like I'll maybe that's my hot take. Top three for like scares with these and in the movies as well. I'd have to really think about it, but it felt like one of the better ones because it had like a pure just dread to it. Where the pickle jar
Mm-hmm.
one was more, I think, grosser. Like it was just kind of, I don't know, like I won't say comedic, but it had kind of a comedic like come to Papa, kiss Papa, like it's which is fine because Pennywise does that, right? But
Yeah.
this was fully like, oh, this is messed up stuff going on right now, you know?
Yeah, I mean that the bedroom one is one that were I a bit younger and a bit more frightful as I used to be, that would freak me the hell out, and I'd be scared to use my bed sheets for like a few weeks at a time, kind of thing. Because yeah, just like I mean, you kind of already set it up perfectly, but yeah, just I don't think I've ever seen that before. Of okay, let's turn a woman's womb into big nasty Pennywise teeth, and then like now the umbilical cord is just a rope, a chain pulling you back into this like carburetor pretty much is a terrifying sight. And then just like the
Yeah.
way the mom's face is like hunched down
Oh
and
yeah.
like kind of covered in shadow, and then just kind of transforms as they usually do before she like pops up fully in the classic like really creepy way that the body just kind of gets into full height, which is like just way bigger and more terrifying than you could anticipate it to be. Like yeah, that scene was really really good. And that for me, like the Ronnie's acting there too, like the one point when she turns around and is like clawing at the ground as she's pulling herself away.
Yeah.
Just excellent. So yeah, that one definitely got me more because I don't know, not that it's hard to call that more realistic than the other scene, but I think just something about it felt like, I don't know, a more immediate terror than like I'm not going to be any more fearful at a grocery store, after that other
No.
scene. But this one, it feels like, oh god, that is a creepy thought that will linger in my head a bit longer, I think.
Do you think? I feel like which is another thing that's good that maybe they'll talk about this in the future, which will bond them. They're both parents that aren't around visiting them, right? Ronnie with the mom that she lost, and then with
Yeah.
the dad. I can't remember what happened with the dad. Did they explain that last week with Lily's dad?
I
I
don't
know he wasn't
remember.
around, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I bet that we could. I don't think this is the last time seeing the parental nightmares and whatnot, them overcoming. But I also think maybe that's another thing they could bond over is the loss of parents, and plus they could maybe that's another way where Lily kind of understands that she could help more because she's losing another dad. Where I don't know what they're gonna do with Lily's mom so far because she was very dismissive of Ronnie, like, "Hey, get out of here! I'm calling your grandma," and then she put her daughter back in the institution. So I don't
Hmm.
think. I could see, Ronnie's dad playing a role, believing them or trying to help someone another, where I think Lily's mom is not going to be that. So I
Yeah.
do think they could bond over that. And I do think we'll see the parents again, probably in some more nightmarish uh, individuals. And plus, I don't know if they're going to win this because we've talked about this before, right? Of like, I don't know, like, honestly, it sounds
Yeah.
bad, but there could be a situation where Lily, the season ends and she's in this asylum, right? Like what I described of her meeting someone that's had dealt with Pennywise before, she could be that, where, somewhere in 27,
Mm.
47, we never saw her, but there, she had that story. Because a lot of these, I just feel like Pennywise kind of has to be somewhat undefeated early on in these seasons, right? Because I feel like the Losers Club is the first time where he's kind of cocky and arrogant, and I didn't win, so that's why he wants them back as adults to kind of get revenge, right? So maybe I don't think they're all gonna die, but I could see Lily having a fate worse than death, I guess. So
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if these are characters that aren't connected to those other movies in the way that some of these other ones are that we've mentioned already, like Mike's grandfather and whatnot, then
yeah,
yeah, I guess like their fate is kind of gonna be sealed off here. So we'll see what's going on. Do you feel like the Lily's mom was under Pennywise's control, or is she truly just that cold and emotionless and just such a shitty mom?
TBD, because I thought at first the interaction with Ronnie just kind of felt like, okay, you're just a parent that, obviously it's a different situation, but maybe you're not handling this best. But in the car ride, she felt a
The
little
car
off.
was super cold. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a to be decided. It could be like Beverly's dad, right? Like obviously Beverly's dad was a piece of shit abuser, but and so I don't know if Lily's mom's an abuser, but just maybe she's
Hmm.
resentful of her daughter or something like that, right? So kind of like how you were Dick. That's how I am with the mom, where I gotta wait and see more because I think I had two scenes where one looked like not the most caring mother, and then one looked like, oh, there's a clown on your shoulder
Yeah.
dancing around. So
And then Ronnie, uh, there's that scene in there when Pennywise through the mom's body is saying like, "You killed your mom and you're gonna kill your dad.
Yeah.
Which is something that, like, even going back to it, chapter 1, like, obviously there's the scene with Bowers when he goes home, and then, like, the TV, he's, like, seeing, flashes in the TV of, like, telling him, kill him, do it, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to lead into something? Is just that him going to her, or is it, like, in some way, is she going to, like, accidentally kill him, or, like, I don't know. Is that a foreshadow, or is that just, you killed your mom in childbirth, you're going to kill your dad? Like, is it just that kind of one-to-one? Like, I guess it could even be seen as, because I just thought of this right in the moment, like, okay, well, with her bringing all the kids to the theater, that stuff happening of all the kids dying, and now the dad getting framed for it, is he just going to be, like, executed or something like that? And that's what Pennywise meant in that moment.
I think it will be that, or I think if he kind of gets deeper into the mystery, he kind of gets taken out, unfortunately, because I don't think it'll be like Bowers, where Bowers, I think, is a little weak-minded, but then also kind of has like an evil nature to him. So I feel like
it'd be hard
Pennywise
to picture Ronnie going
yes,
that hard down that road.
Yeah, so I could just see it something like her involving him in more of this clown stuff, and that kind of indirectly gets him killed. Or like you said, it could just be an execution, but I feel like he has to get out of there for a little bit, but I don't know how that worked in the 60s as far as when you get arrested, because nowadays we know, okay, certain crimes you can be out of prison while you wait for trial, certain ones you can't, some you can pay a bail and get out, but I don't know what it was like, especially in the 60s being, a black man. I don't think those laws probably apply the same, but if you were to ask me the percentage on him making the season, like I think it's a low 10% in my opinion, so odds aren't good for Ronnie's dad.
The only thing maybe in his favor is that the main cop, sheriff guy, whoever it was, obviously the one that, like, tricked Lily, seemed like he's not as racist as the others. Like, he didn't really want to do this as much. I'm not giving this guy a fault. Like, he still did a shitty thing. But I'm just saying, he doesn't seem like as dead set of, like, oh yeah, we have to kill this guy even if we're breaking the law. Let's just do it. He seems like maybe it's slightly more reasonable. He at least wants to have evidence and things like that. So I don't know. If anything, maybe that helps his case, but I could still see him going.
That's what I thought, but then when he had Dick and his friends kind of kicked out, I was like, okay, now I'm not too sure about the cop anymore, right? Because he's like, hey, whatever the bartender's name, kind of pointing them out, and then that's like, let's get out of here, right? So
was that, I don't know. I guess I didn't catch that was the same cop. Okay, I think
it was. Yeah. At the same time, they were like laughing, so I'm not sure if it was just he thought they were laughing at him or he was just having a bad day. We'll have to see, but I think. I don't think he's as bad. I think here's the thing. I don't know. I was gonna say I don't think he's a racist. He might just be like a crooked cop. But then, like I said, why would he get those bartender to kick out the guys? I don't know. So we'll have to see.
He's damned. No, he's bad guy.
Yeah,
bad guy.
I only have one more note.
Well, I guess we haven't really broken down the grocery store scene as much yet, but I like the set piece. I think it's fun. I don't think it was super scary to me, probably because it's like daytime grocery store. I think it had some good editing, and it was a fun scene, but I didn't find it like particularly scary scene, which is fine. They don't all have to be. But you kind of know where it's going to get to, of just like getting trapped in these different aisles, alleyways, that kind of thing. And leading up to like this big pickle sequence, which he smashes it, and then you get like a creepy octopus dad hybrid thing that's climbing up on her, choking her out. You kind of know where the scene's going to go. I guess I didn't really anticipate that. I guess I didn't see Lily going back to the insane asylum like that early kind of thing. So I guess it's maybe the result of that surprised me a bit, but overall it was still a fun set piece.
Yeah, no, I liked it. It was, I think CGI was pretty good. There's a couple iffy spots, but I like the creature that turned into, where it was the head that's like all sliced. You have the tentacles, and what I really liked as a little detail is they had a hand behind the head, like holding it all together, like holding it up so it wouldn't fall apart. So, no, I thought that was good. And the one moment I liked too, that even though they did this throughout the whole scene, the very first time when she walked in the background, you can see one of the workers just staring her down, and eventually everyone's staring and following her. But the second she opened that grocery store in the peripheral, you can see someone already just ready to, mess with her and stuff, which I appreciate. It's a good build up. So no, I like that one. I think it's tough because it wasn't as good as the other one, but it's still held up, and I liked the creativeness of whatever this monster was. So.
Yeah, my last note was just another interesting observation from watching It Chapter 2 again, is the dinner scene when the crew is all hanging out together.
Oh, I love
and
that
open
scene,
up their fortune cookies, and the fortune cookies start like oozing, and then these little creepy little birds, little bugs with baby faces on them start breaking out and like flying around the room and stuff. And I think I just totally forgot about that scene, so it kind of just reminded me of how much the weird baby hybrid creatures that we had in in the first episode last week felt very similar to that. So I guess that is kind of like a recurring theme of Pennywise likes to make creatures like babies hybrid with other things. And so yeah, I thought that was a fun. I totally forgot about that scene, so it was a fun little connection point as well.
Yeah. No,
Yep.
I enjoy that. I enjoy that scene a lot. Mike says, but they mentioned the reason the major is resistant to fear is because the damage dulum
amygdala.
oblongata, right? What is it?
Amygdala.
Amygdala, the dula oblongata in combat. Yeah, you're right, Mike. So that is another reason. So I guess the test was just to
An
see
extremely
like
rare injury, they said. Yeah.
extremely rare
Good call.
injury that fear goes away, and then I guess the test was just to see if he was still like had his stuff like he's with it, like still a smart guy and everything. So all right, that's fair. Yeah, I'll give them that. That's more a better jump than just he's can stand up to racists. I'm not saying that's not a proud thing. That is, but like that versus potential supernatural being that they're using, of course, to fight the Cold War. Which is, I guess, like what would be their idea? I guess to scoop it up, shoot it into wherever they want to go into Russia, and then scare everyone to death. I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. Have to workshop that one a bit.
Yeah, it's always tough, right? Because like I can't remember if you've seen this movie. Is that movie with Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy earlier this year? I think it was called The Gorge or whatever, something like
I
that.
still haven't seen that. No.
And I don't think you're gonna. And that's the big thing where it's like, what's down there? It's like, oh, something the government's creating. They're creating a weapon. That's where it's like, I'm giving this more leeway because it's not the only plot line of the show. But I do think I'm kind of, and I will blame a lot of superhero stuff, right? Because I feel like Marvel and DC have spammed the government's trying to use this as a weapon. But that's like a trope I really need to take a break for a few years.
I mean, there's a lot of people on the left who are very anti-government in the last few years as well. So I think that tracks for people writing that into their TV shows.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's just I'm done with like what's going on. Well, the government wants to use and like even right now I forgot because I'm rewatching it, and that's fine because this was almost a decade ago. But even Stranger Things, that's like the whole start of this, all right. Like they find the upside down. Like what are they doing? They want to be a weapon. It's like. Yeah, all right. Like I just
I'm going in circles for sure.
Yeah, we're definitely there. All I was gonna ask, and I don't know if you even saw this because I feel like sometimes you are a natural skipper of them. But did you watch the new opening credits we got at all here?
I did because the first episode didn't have it, right?
Yeah, because they had the Binky go into the water and it went to the sewer thing, right? Which makes sense because you couldn't do that every week of just show the same sewer. Even though I liked the animation of it, and then I went to the Welcome Derry, and I thought this was fun, just seeing the different. I like it was all like images that you would see from the '60s of like happy images, and then something's off with them back. Yeah. I don't know why there's an image of Pennywise jumping from the window with a gun. That was quite something, but
okay, I missed that.
I'll see if I can pull it off. It was weird, but I liked him. I don't know if I'd be watching him every time, stuff like that, but I thought it was a fun twist on usual Derry. This is really nice, but something's off here,
Yeah, I mean the cheery music mixed with fucked up imagery is a great combo always because you can take a song and then you start overthinking the lyrics of like, oh, what is this song actually about? And sometimes it's not actually about anything sinister, but you're just kind of recontextualizing everything. So yeah, I liked it. It was quite nice.
It reminds me of like Fallout stuff as well too. Like when they're talking to you in the vault and they'll be telling you the worst information, like, and your knees will explode if you use this.
Yeah,
but
the
it's
kind
like
of propaganda angle to
yes,
it.
Yeah. This is what it was. Is I guess because it's kind of like invoking maybe like the mob, like criminal era, right? Like mobsters and everything. But it's an odd choice. I really hope it's not like AI or something like that.
That's very Call of Duty of just like diving out of a building, shooting your gun.
Yeah, they missed an opportunity to have this as a skin this month, or last month with October.
True. Because
would have been great.
Life-size Chucky. They should have thrown Pennywise in there.
Exactly. So, anything else, Dylan?
No, I think that's all.
Yeah, no, that's good for me too. So yeah, we'll be back next week. We'll see what happens, see what Taylor thinks, and yeah, we got not a few more weeks. We got still how many other weeks? But it feels off because we got a couple months into December. But yeah, we'll be back next week to talk about this, and I promise it will.